All right, we got Patrick here, and we have to do a deep dive into. I don't even know where to start, Pat. All of the enlightening information that came out of the KOC Quasi press conference. Is Ed Donatel coming back? We're still making those decisions.
Mm-hmm.
What about Kirk Cousins? How about an extension? We don't know what shape that's going to take.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys have any good young players besides Darisaw and Jefferson? We're working on that.
And anyone who expected anything, there is a great naivete among younger sports fans. Let's say the 35-year-old and under crowd who actually thought that Ed Donatel might be fired yesterday. He's going to be fired, but it's going to be with a news release in about 3 days, I would guess.
Do people think that they were going to walk up to the podium with like suits and sunglasses and say, "We have blasted Ed Donatel to the sun.
We've made a change.
Good."
We blame him for everything. It's going to be a 3-paragraph release in which we thank him for his great work and the veteran leadership and I don't think NFL does the national search thing, but we are looking for a replacement. But it's not like one of my favorite things is Carlton fires their soccer coach and they're going on a national search for a replacement. Yeah, right, okay. Yeah, some guy in Alabama is going to come up here and take the job.
Why is it? You brought up a good point. Why is it so in like Power 5 athletics in the NBA? Love to use search firms, right? Glenn Taylor hired a search firm. When's the last time an NFL team hired a search firm to?
I don't think they're making so much money they can have their own search firm on site, right? They got three people out there whose only job is to find the new coaches or something. So they got so much money. But yeah, Ed's gone, but you're going to have to relax a few days until the release is sent out. And but Ed, it's safe for Ed to buy a one-way ticket to Thailand if he wants to hang out with Cliff
Kingsbury.
Cliff,
because
I love
he's not coming back. They got to blame him, but I blame the head coach that he wed himself to the 3-4, and he 2 weeks into it, and Hunter was invisible. I mean, a month into it, you should have said, Ed, how are you on the 4-3? Or am I going to find one of these other guys to coach it? Because this is not leaving the whole field empty based on a Hunter and a couple other guys putting pressure on is not going to work because they're not doing that. And you have guys, linebackers chasing backs down, receivers down the field, and it's not going to work. But as I said, they weren't going to do it yesterday, but they're going to do it pretty soon. The double talk of, what makes Bill Guerin great is he answers questions when asked. He's the only guy left in town that isn't completely full of BS up to his ears. Although we don't know if Tim Connolly's full of BS up to his ears or not, because he's hiding.
He's in a bunker.
He's with Denny.
He found the Denny bunker.
Yes, right. And then Falvey has gotten completely. He's got that smooth talking lingo down great now. He used to stumble around and have to bring in Levine to help him out, but now he's got the smooth going now. And of course, Quasi doesn't say it. It was nice to see Quasi, though, wasn't it? I mean, he's alive.
Looking good.
That's good.
Yeah, he also made a reference. I think Suhan took a shot at him, like, "Hey, you're a public figure," and he made a reference to a media report about me not being very public. That's not my personality.
To be public.
Yeah,
it's not that public. You know what, though? Everything said about them not saying anything, it wouldn't have been a hell of a lot different with Spielman, right?
No, he
would have. Yeah, he wouldn't have said anything either.
No,
and then he would have. He took pride in his evasiveness, and they all do really. But Spielman was. I used to tell everybody they went out there everybody rushed out there on Monday for the draft update when he was 2 days before the draft. He was gonna. Yeah. I said, don't show up. Nobody show up because embarrass him. Get the TV state, everybody's out there, because it's the Vikings. And he's not going to tell you anything. He's going to say, we've been getting a lot of calls.
That's how it all started. The opening statement.
We're either going to move up, move down, or stay the same. One of the two, one of the three. We're going to do something.
Phone is ringing, Patrick. The phone is ringing constantly.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he used every single year.
I don't know I don't know if I like Kwesi or not because I haven't seen enough of him. Spielman irritated me. Spielman, although I do think one of the great moments in general manager, vice president of operations is when he's whispering to the quarterback. Who was the quarterback we brought in?
It was Josh Freeman, right?
Josh Freeman. Yeah. Whispering to Jeff. Somehow on the audio, we got to hear him saying, tell him. Remember that? That audio got out. That
was the Vikings.
Saved. That should be saved in posterity. Tell him this. Tell him you're proud to be here. Tell him that this was it was fantastic. God, I love that. That he got caught. They didn't even trust the guy to answer the obscure question. That would be an interesting thing to, if some deep dive had been made back then. Is how did that happen? How did they get here? And then he played a game when he wasn't ready to play, and it was Lester's decision to play him in front of Spielman's. How did he get on the field? How did he get on field when and the cheerleaders were in danger when he threw a pass? He was throwing them all over the building. It was. How did that happen? We never quite figured it out, did we?
Yeah, I think it was, in retrospect, I think it was Rick wanted Josh to play. Spielman, or I'm sorry, Frazier didn't. They got into it, but they both had control. So the thing, the most interesting thing I took away from the entire press conference on Wednesday was this: the aging process of an NFL head coach. We're seeing it again. Kevin O'Connell looked like he hadn't slept in 3 days. And look at the hair. The hair is already starting to go. His hair is thinning. It's a president thing all over again. This guy was JFK when he got the job, and now he's haggard.
Every 98% of all males in the country said, "Boy, I wish I could stand up there and look like this." When he first got here, and he was so confident. And the greatest BS going on right now, though, is that he and Kirk weren't screaming at each other they're on the sideline right there after Kirk lost the game for him, right?
Yeah,
I mean that it was that he was comforting him very loudly. He was comforting him, and very angrily he was comforting him. If that was the situation, but I was glad to see it, weren't you? That O'Connell had that in him. It didn't have to be all backslapping. That he was willing to tell the guy, you just screwed up the season. How do you feel about that? We don't exactly know what he said, but it looked like it was not happy. That's for sure.
Does that play? We had on our. Every week we bring in Alex Boone, and last night Jeremiah Searles also joined to break down just kind of the film and stuff on Purple Daily. And they both said, for one, unforgivable to throw that pass.
Yes.
That Boone said, I just throw it to Justin Jefferson. Searles said, the play's actually kind of designed for KJ Osborne if you just look over to your left, pre-snap. And they both said they would try and get Kirk to lift his no-trade clause and get – I mean, is there any chance that they explore that and something that resembles a blow it all up? Or do you think the Wilfs, it kind of feels like the franchise and the ownership is so persistent on moving forward, being competitive. We will not rebuild. We will not strip it down.
Well, do you feel that, Kirk would only lift it if somebody brings him in and gives him 4 years, right? I mean, that would be. Yeah,
it would have to be that. Yeah, you'd have to say go seek an extension somewhere.
Yeah, that would be his extension. But how long do they have him?
1 more year.
Just 1 more year. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And this whole thing, are you going to extend him? What is it, like a crime if you let a guy play his last season? I don't get it.
I know.
Why is everybody always worried about that?
Well, you're offended then, right? Because then you play the whole season. I know you don't really want me around because otherwise you would have locked me up. It's an ego thing.
What do you think their view of him is? This new administration. I mean, numerically, he wasn't much different than he's been, but that was the best he's ever been this year. Wouldn't you agree? I mean,
absolutely.
the way he played fourth quarter.
Like
the way
statistically, you could. I would take this version of Kirk over all other versions of Kirk. To answer your question,
yeah. And it's one thing they told him was take more chances. And that's probably why he got some interceptions. He threw under the sticks at the worst time in the history of football, but the rest of the year he didn't do it like 6 times a game like he used to, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
So I don't know what to think of them, but boy, they're out there, man. The Kirk crowd is still out there. It's
the Crusaders.
Oh, they are really upset that he's taking any blame. This is on the defense. Okay, we can all agree the defense
I know, yes,
was a little shaky, but when push came to shove, he made the big screw up that prevented you from getting down there and tying the game in all likelihood. So
yeah. So I'm gonna try and answer your question on behalf of Kwesi and KOC because this is my opinion and maybe they share it, but people get so upset with like what you just said. Well, the defense is to blame. Kirk's not to blame for that loss. I agree. Like Kirk was for 95% of that game. Kirk was keeping the Vikings in it with great plays. He was taking hits. There's a difference between whether someone's to blame for a loss and whether someone is the solution when you need them to be on a regular basis. And when you make the third most money of any player in the NFL to the team salary cap, now he was a solution a lot this year, so that's why I will give him credit. But now he's going to be 35 years old. He's not mobile or nimble. I don't think you can just expect that he's going to age like Tom Brady. Well, Tom Brady played till he was 45, and Drew Brees, okay. Those are the outliers, right?
Tom Brady should have played till he was 44. I'll tell you that. He stunk. He was terrible. But I think you're right. This is the best he's going to be. And is he 34 now? 34? How old is he?
34.
Yeah. If there's a place to move on, is there? What do you do if you get rid of him? I mean, there's who's out there.
Well, you'd be drafting, right? You'd be.
Yeah, but you can't count on that. You can't count on somebody out of the draft, right?
It would be a rebuild. You'd be
going
in a rebuild.
How about Jordan Love?
See, I personally he's already 3 years into his rookie deal, and I'd rather just get a rookie quarterback and get the 5 years of.
Yeah.
How about your guy, Royce? Trey Lance. I think they like Trey Lance.
Do you really? He's probably available.
I think they like him.
But they're gonna try to get back some of all that what they give up 3 number ones or something for him, some ungodly deal. He's a Marshall, Minnesota guy. I know a lot of people down there. Everybody loves him. Great guy, but I don't like the delivery. I don't like the big, long arm swing, and it seems like it stops halfway through it. And you got to get the replacement, but I don't know who it is. But yeah, I think I'm in favor of having been enough, Kirk. Let's try it again. Somebody else, I'm
careful around the Crusaders.
Yeah, but where's he going to take us? I mean, they're not. Where's he going to take them?
It's not his fault. It's not his fault.
You want to take him back? You want to take him back to the playoffs? Okay, that's fine. He'll get you back to the playoffs, but not going to get you through the next round. He's not going to. He might get you through the first round. He's not going to get you through the next one. The only reason they're going to be in the playoffs next year would be that they're in the NFC North, which unless Detroit. Here's the deal. I think I said this a couple days ago. There's the Bears. They still stink. There's the Packers who are going downhill. And there's the Lions who were really a surprisingly good team and outplayed people all year long. But they're still the Lions. And they can screw up a one-car parade, generally speaking. So this guy could flame out too. Campbell and screaming at people, that might not work. So I don't see any reason for a big rebuild, but they've certainly got to rebuild the defense, and they have to make their decision. I guess they got to make their decision on Kirk. They don't really have to bring him back for 1 year and say sayonara. It was nice.
Yeah, Jefferson's not an idiot too. He's about to sign. I'm sure he'll sign a mega extension. If you're Jefferson, don't you kind of want to know who your quarterback's going to be in 2-3 years?
Yeah, well, you draft a guy this year. You draft a guy that you think, not Kellen Mond, somebody who can actually throw a ball that's in the general direction of a receiver. And then you get 1 more year out of Kirk. And then this guy's your quarterback 2 years from now, right? What the hell? Let's do that.
Well, and the whole point of bringing KOC in was that, right? Like a huge point was you can find one. I mean, this team has not found a franchise quarterback in how long? You know, they've gone and signed them.
Well, it's very similar to the Denny era, right? I mean, Denny was changing quarterbacks every year there for a while until he got to Dante. Yep. It was 7 years. 7 years before they played Dante. And the only reason they played Dante in '99 is they couldn't sign Dan Marino. They weren't even ready to go to him yet. So after
exactly
7 years, but I don't know. Is this a good team? It's got Jefferson, some other couple. I think the offensive line has possibilities and tackles are good. But is this a good team? I don't know. It's a good team.
I think it's a good offense. I think the defense is basically needs to be restructured.
It does.
Rebuilt.
And that's the good news. If you swap out the 5 30-plus-year-olds for just 5 young guys on defense, it can't get worse, right?
Hey, what they say when they were properly vague when asked about Thielen yesterday too. I suppose I didn't listen to the whole thing.
I don't think they were asked about him.
Oh, really? Wow.
Chip asked about Jefferson and the contract. I watched the whole thing. I don't remember his name being mentioned.
The only show in America talking about it is right here. Right here.
Jump in. Go ahead. Feel free.
No, but the thing about him is it hurts the cap if you let him go, right? Because he takes some big dead money hit.
Well, it depends on how you look at it. If they cut they're not going to be able to trade him probably, but if you cut him pre-June 1st, you would of the 19.5 or whatever that he's owed to the cap, you would save $6.5 million to go spend on someone else, but you would be eating like 13.5 for this year. So
if I was the president of the United States, in addition to taxing the hell out of the rich, I would pass a federal law that the NFL was required to make the salary cap understandable. That's what for the masses. All the money we spent building public stadiums and stuff for this league, they should make it so there's like 5 rules, right? These are the 5 guidelines. And the NBA and the NFL should both be required to make their salary cap rules understandable to the masses.
I think you could run pretty deep into the primary on that right there, Pat.
That's right.
If you could just appeal to middle America and NFL cities, I think you've got something.
And why not just if you cut somebody, they've made their money. It doesn't have if you cut somebody, it just comes off the salary cap. Yeah. What's wrong with that? Why do we have to? So what? I know this is to deter giving big contracts out, but what does the NFL care if you get out a big contract or not? If you stay under that salary cap number, what do they care?
I think where it gets confusing is the money. So there's 2 different monies, right? There's what a player gets paid, and then there's what hits your books to the salary cap. Yep. And there are different. So the player could get a base salary, they could get a signing bonus, they could get incentives, they could get roster bonuses, and all of those can be moved around in different places in different seasons.
Why not just, okay, Thielen, you're making $19 million for the next 3 years, but after 2, we have the right to get rid of you, and that's it. You're off the books.
I think I don't know where this originated from, but I think the signing bonus has become a big thing, which is while I am healthy and able-bodied, give me a chunk of money. And so the players want as much money up front as possible because I could blow my ACL tomorrow. And the teams are like, well, if we just give everyone all the money up front, then we're going to have problems
The world would be a better if all contracts were guaranteed. Just the money was guaranteed. Then you wouldn't have Adam Thielen making $19 million a year. You'd have him making 12. And then then you'd have to pay him $36 million for 3 years, and he'd get it all. And then if you wanted to get rid of him,
Kirk was a genius. That's why Kirk was so smart, Patrick.
Yeah, Kirk was my guy.
Greatest negotiator of all time.
Yeah. Well, how much do you want? How much do we have to guarantee? All of it. There's not many guys. That's what Jefferson should tell them. All of it.
Did Tyreek Hill did one of these receivers get a guaranteed contract or no?
Dang near all of it. Yeah, I think it was Tyreek. Yeah. Isn't it amazing that receivers are now getting it, next to quarterbacks, the big time receivers next getting it all, and running backs are, running. Ooh, this guy rushed for 1,800 yards. He's going to make $9 million next year. It's unbelievable what's happened to the poor running backs. Stand up for the running backs of America. They're getting the short end of the stick, man.
We're putting together Pat's running ticket here. Yep. Make the salary cap explainable and stand up for running backs.
I'm going to have
America.
I'm going to have a vice president that's a running back, but it ain't going to be Herschel. I'll tell you that.
Oh, wow, there it is.
Because he might go out in public and talk. We don't want that to happen.
Robert Smith can be your running mate.
Yeah, Robert Smith would be very good.
All right,
How about our Wolves last night?
Yeah, we got 60 seconds left for you to rant about the Wolves.
I don't want to rant. It was a game, wonderful effort. Even D'Angelo made a couple of shots when it counted. They played great. And I said with 5 minutes to go, this is going to be a good loss for the Wolves, I said on Twitter. And nobody really argued with me. Everybody, that's how the NBA works. The good. They got the last 9 points, right? Denver. They got the last. They did. 9.
Yep. The Wolves.
They got but it was a gallant effort with a bunch of scrabinis. I got a new pecking order in the best big men in the Northwest Division. A. Jokic, B. Walker Kessler, 3. Luka Garza, 4. Rudy Gobert. That's my list.
Luka Garza, man.
Play Luka more. Luka's good. Play Luka.
He can score,
see
man.
You later.
All right, see you, Pat. All right, there he is. Royce Unchained. You can find everything he does on the Royce Unchained podcast feed. Oh, it was great. Great stuff.